we're going, we don't need roads.
Have you ever wondered what's happened to some of the cars off TV programmes once filming is finished? Well, you're in the right place. This time we're going to look for the DeLorean DMC-12 that was featured on Wheeler Dealers back in 2011. And we're going to do our usual thing of have a quick review of what happened in the programme and then see what we can find out about what happened to the car after the show. The DeLorean we're looking for is registration number YDP842X, and this programme first went out on the 11th of October 2011. So this would mean that this car was worked on probably in the spring summer of 2011. As you're probably aware, Mike sourced this car in America, which is where majority of the DeLoreans ended up. And when he got it back to the UK, Ed had quite a bit to do on it. There was a crankshaft oil seal that needed his attention, which he managed to get that sorted. And then there was sort of various other mainly aesthetic jobs. There were a few dents in the panel. The rear louvre was damaged, so he did a bit of a fiberglass repair, repainted that. Interior was given a bit of a revamp. The window winder motors had failed, so he replaced those. The aircon wasn't working, and they traced that back to a blown fuse. As a final thing, gave the wheels a bit of a refurb. So how did the numbers work out on this one? Well, the purchase price was $9,650, and then the costs, and bear in mind this does include $1,000 towards Mike's travel expenses and $1,500 for shipping to get the car back to the UK, so they have covered those costs. That was a total of $5,065. That gave a grand total of $14,715. So that left them, when it was sold, for $20,500 with a profit of $5,785. And I believe up to that point in the various series, that was the biggest profit that they had earned. So if we take a quick fast forward to 2025 and have a look at Practical Classics Valuation Guide, and their suggestion for a Condition 1 DeLorean in the UK is £40,000. So that car has almost doubled. It's gone up £19,500. So whoever took it on would have got a very good investment from that car. So the bit you're really here for, what happened to that car after the show? Well, if we go over to our partners My Car Check, we can have a look on one of their comprehensive checks, and it shows the car is still here. It hasn't been re-exported back to the States. It does have a flag on import-export, but that is literally down to when it was brought into the UK and registered in 2011. And it also shows it is currently taxed. Obviously over 40 years old now, this car is now MOT exempt. So if we scroll down, and this is the bits you don't get when you look on DVLA or MOT history and so on, it gives you a change of keeper. And the last change of keeper on this car was back in July 2011. Now, by my estimate, that's around about the time the car would have been worked on for a program release in the October. So it looks like it may have stuck with one owner since it came out of the program. And if we take a look at the MOT history, we can see that this car actually hasn't done an awful lot of work at all. When it was first MOT'd back in 2011, when I assume Wheeler Dealers were working on it, it had only done 24,000 miles. And if we look at its MOT history through the years, it's had one round about every June every year, and it's only done around about 1,000 miles every year. And its last MOT was in 2020, and at that point it had done 33,000 miles. So it really hasn't done a lot. And of course, as I mentioned, it's now MOT exempt. And through that MOT history, there really wasn't anything too much to get excited about. There were a few advisories, a couple of fails on things like headlamp aim and that kind of thing, but really sort of nothing that would cause you concern if you were sort of looking to buy that car. Now in the programme, we saw it being purchased by a chap called Matthew. And as I surmised from the My Car Check report, he still owns it. And the good news is I've managed to get hold of him, and he's told me the full story of what's happened to that car since the programme. He decided he wanted the DeLorean because in fact he had a family connection to it because his dad actually worked for DeLorean. And he first became aware of the car when he saw it on eBay and got in touch with the production team. And incredibly, at that time, he wasn't really aware of Wheeler Dealers, and obviously has learned a lot more about the program since then. And if you're one of the people that's not aware of this channel and this is your first time watching, welcome. This is not a one-off on Wheeler Dealers or TV cars as a whole. We've done a whole back catalogue of the Wheeler Dealer cars up till now, and we're going to carry on in the future. So if you don't want to miss out on those, please do give that little subscribe button a bit of a bash. Now, Matthew got in a bit of a discussion over price with the production team. They had it up for 20,000. They had an offer of 20,500. Now, I'm surmising, and I'm guessing here because nobody really knows the answer, because Matthew had that great connection back to the factory, they agreed that if he matched that 20,500 offer, they would sell him the car with no further negotiations, and that's what they did. And he did say he did feel a bit daft on the programme, having to sort of repeat the exercise where he had to overbid what the asking price was. Matthew went off with the car and he is really chuffed with it. He said they've done a lot more work to it than what was seen in the programme, and we've had that sort of repeated on many occasions in the past. And to the extent that, if you remember when I was talking about what went on with the aircon where it wasn't working, they replaced the fuse, a couple of months later the aircon compressor blew. And they very kindly, Wheeler Dealers, sent out somebody to replace the air compressor, or aircon compressor, free of charge. So it even comes with a warranty. How about that? Now, as we've seen by the MOT history, he admits himself he hasn't done huge miles in it, and it's now showing just under 36,000 miles. And yeah, but he has had a few adventures in it. He has taken it into Europe, popped it onto the Euro tunnel, and went off to Bruges, which apparently turned into quite an exciting visit because I've never been to Bruges myself, but apparently the streets are quite narrow, and he got into the sort of main square and was having difficulty sort of negotiating his way out down the narrow road, so that turned into a bit of a venture. It's also been pressed into family duties. It's done 5 family proms, and it has also done Matthew's wedding day, where it was dressed up with the obligatory ribbon. So it's done the full Monty in that respect. He said it's been a really good drive. It's been reliable, as in his words, not mine, as good as you can expect for a classic car that was built in Belfast. Don't come at me. I'm just reporting the feedback. It has had to repaint the front bumper, and he's also replaced the headlights. And despite the fact that it's MOT exempt, he does still get it regularly serviced, and it does seem to be a very pampered car. And interestingly, the garage that he uses to service it is a bit of a DeLorean specialist. And also, those of you who know of Jason Bradbury of the Gadget Show, apparently he has a DeLorean, and that's where he gets his serviced as well. Matthew also says the DeLorean community has been incredibly good, I think, helping with supply of parts and information and that kind of thing. And he's just had a great time with it, and by the sort of tone of the discussions we had, I can't believe that he's actually ever going to get rid of it. So it's a bit cheesy, but I think that car very much has found its forever home. Well, I really hope you've enjoyed that, and if you appreciate the effort we put in to put these videos together, please do give us a like and hopefully a subscribe. I'll catch you next time. Transmission. Let's fucking get. Have you ever? Excuse me. Done it again.